It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the PWHPA hockey player, Laura Dostaler. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome, Brandon. How about you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in playing professional hockey?
Yeah, that one I would just say it started when I was 5 and I first played hockey, and I just absolutely loved it. And it really hasn't been a question since then. So yeah, I've never really doubted the path that's been open to me along the way since then.
Of course, when you got started in playing hockey, did you go to college or did you go straight to professional?
I went straight to professional. So I played up in Edmonton in the Sherwood Park for the midget AAA with the girls there. Had an awesome year, and then didn't really know what I wanted to do for school. So I went right into senior women's hockey with Edmonton Chimos. And then Edmonton Chimos transformed into the Cwhl and the Calgary Inferno. And that's what I've been kind of doing since. I've always played around with the idea of going back to school now that I'm a little bit older and I know more of my interests. But yeah, at the time, I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
What was that transition like of going, of course, from a young age to straight into professional versus taking that year to obviously develop in college?
It was an interesting one. I remember my first year playing senior women's hockey, and it was just so much faster than what I'd ever played before. It took a while to adjust to the speed of the play. And then when we got into the actual pro league with the CWHL, it was kind of a transition because we got more and more professional as the years went on. That's, I think, 10 or 11 years ago now. So I still remember the days where like our parents were still coming in and making us meals for our home games and stuff like that. So it's definitely gotten a lot more professional that I've seen over the years, and that transition was a bit gradual and the skill ramping up even more with the Olympians. So that part was gradual, but the initial definitely saw a speed change quite quickly.
What was it like getting drafted into the CWHL with the Almond and Honey Badgers?
Yeah, that one was a really interesting one because that was right when the Edmonton Chimos finished, and we actually comboed with the Strathmore Rockies, and they were our arch enemies. Like the Edmonton Oilers was the Calgary Flames, like the Strathmore Rockies was Edmonton Chimos. Like we just played each other all the time. We hated each other, and then all of a sudden we became teammates. So that was a very interesting year. There was a lot of commuting. I still lived up in Edmonton, and we were driving back and forth. Our coach drove back and forth to the Calgary-based area. So a very interesting transition year for sure.
What was that feeling like of putting on your first professional hockey jersey for the CWHL?
That one actually hit me later. Like I remember putting on the Team Alberta jersey and like the Honey Badgers. Didn't really impact me too much at that time. I didn't really realize like what it was representing. But I'm not remember the exact date, but one year I didn't make the team. We had a very heavy Olympic roster, very talented group. They actually won the Clarkson Cup that year. And then regaining my jersey the next year and making the team again, that's when it really, really impacted me of wearing that jersey. This is my name. This is my team crest on the front, and that I earned it back. That was really, really emotional and impactful for me.
What was that feeling like? Obviously, as you said, you didn't make it one year, but then you had to earn your spot back.
Probably one of the most emotional things I've ever gone through in my life. It just really kind of can hit you to the core when you realize that what you want to do is almost out of your hands. Like a coach is deciding it. It can be political. Other things are outside your control of what you want to do. And there was no, and still is almost no other competitive hockey options for me. So I was like, is this the end of my career? Is this out of my hands? So like that was very hard to move through. But in the end, I think it made me a way stronger and put me on a better path for my development. And I realized all the things that I can do to get better. So like that, it was hard, but I think has made me a better player, because if that hadn't happened, I don't think I would have changed the way I was training, fueling, nutrition, like looking at all these different options. So yeah, one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life, because I just love hockey so much, and getting it taken away was just so hard. But I think way better because of it, for sure.
What was it like getting to play with the Calgary Infernos?
Yeah, that was so cool. I wish I can't wait till we have a league again. Like, just such like a fun group of girls, playing every other weekend. It's really hard with a full-time job. Like, I remember just being completely sleep deprived. By the time the season ended, like I would go on holidays and just sleep, because you're working 40 hours and you're trying to play competitively, train competitively. It's a lot, but just so much fun. Can't wait for an official league to start up again. And I think it's something that all girls coming up should have an opportunity to play in. I think that's really huge for our sport.
What was that honor like of putting on that Calgary Infernos jersey?
Yeah, that one really hit me, the Calgary Inferno jersey. Seeing your name on it, seeing like little girls teams across Canada, actually across the world. Like, I saw one in, I don't know, it was Japan or China, and they had our logo. So like that logo is just taken off and gone. Like, we saw it in Nova Scotia this year when I was out there, like a minor hockey team with it. So like the logo is more than what it initially started as, like, and that I think is what makes it so powerful. Like, there's little girls teams looking up at this logo and wanting to play somewhere. So yeah, really impactful for sure.
What were some of your accomplishments during your time with the Calgary Infernos?
So like won the Clarkson Cup just as the league folded. So really happy, and then the league folded. So like kind of both emotions there. But the Clarkson Cup, and get my name on the Clarkson Cup, would definitely be very high up on that for me, because it's also tying into that year I didn't make it and we won the Clarkson. My name never got on it, earning my spot back, and then winning the Clarkson Cup and getting my name on something that, hopefully generations, my kids, whatever, can go back and see. That is like super cool. So I'd say that's the top, and winning it with my team. I also scored the first goal in the team's history, and that was officially with the Honey Badgers, but that I think was pretty cool. Didn't realize it at the time. Like, I think someone wrote about it like a year later, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I did that. But I think that's a cool thing to do with a franchise when it was just starting. I would say those were my two big highlights for sure.
How did it feel to obviously know that your name is on that cup forever in history?
Yeah, so that one's pretty cool. Especially, it's not just like my name on the cup, but like my name being next to so many other cool and awesome teammates. So it's not, okay, it's just my name there. It's like my name is next to these other people. I really hope like people down the road that know me, or my family, or anyone else, like can go see the Clarkson Cup, and that, hey, I knew that person, or that person coached me, or I know Laura Dostaler, and there's her name. I think that inspiration piece and history piece is really cool.
What was the transition like from going from the Cwhl, once it folded, to obviously going to the PWHPA?
Yeah, it was a weird year. It almost felt the same because we had the same group of girls mostly. But like no games really the first year. We had sporadic practices, not the best attendance. Like, we didn't really have a team. So it was like a weird transition, especially when I just want to play hockey. I think we all just want to play hockey. So it's hard to be like told that this is how we're going to get to where we want to be. Like, we have to take a gap year. We have to build momentum and build something up. Like, I think that's hard to accept for everyone who just wants to play hockey. But yeah, it's been really well organized with the last couple tournaments, like really good featuring, really good support from all of our sponsors. We've had so much support and a lot of really good TV coverage that I think, again, it's just so impactful when I have these little girls that I coach and they come up to me and be like, hey, Laura, I saw you on TV. Congrats on your win. I think that we can't take it more seriously. Like, this is impacting people being able to see this, and the girls know that there's a future for them. So yeah, it was a very interesting transition. Definitely will take a league as soon as we can. But I think they've done a good job organizing everything.
Of course, when the CWHL folded, was there any hesitant in which leagues you were going to go to, whether it would be the NWHL, which is now the PHF, or did you know already that you wanted to go to the PWHPA?
I already knew I wanted to do the PWHPA. Definitely considered going to play in Sweden. Again, like I just want to play hockey. Like I just want to play hockey. Like again, since I was 5, I just knew I wanted to play hockey. So I considered going over to Europe and finding a team to play. It hasn't quite worked out with my job situation and working full time still, but definitely on the back burner. Maybe in a couple of years can look into that for sure. But yeah, I always knew I was going to do the PWHPA. I agreed with their mission, their vision for what they were trying to create. So yeah, no question there.
What was it like playing for the Calgary's PWHPA team?
This season's been super fun. We've had a winning streak, and knock on wood, we can continue that. We've got 2 more tournaments coming up in March here, one in Washington and then one in Montreal. But really fun group of girls. Like we're pretty spread out. Like we got people in BC, we got some in Edmonton, we got Calgary-based people that are pretty good at coming to practice. But like there's a lot with like we've got police officers, we got nurses, a lot of people with shift work. So like kind of a hit and miss of seeing everybody in one spot, and then all of a sudden we come together for a showcase tournament and we just like click and we're able to pull out some wins. So those experiences have been super fun. The group's been super supportive. Yeah, great group of girls, great coaching staff, and yeah, it's been pretty cool.
What was the feeling like of signing your first PWHPA contract and putting on that Calgary jersey?
I never actually signed a contract. Putting on the jersey was cool. It was the first year we almost had like practice style jerseys, so there wasn't really a Calgary identity. But as soon as we got our Scotiabank jerseys and Scotiabank stepped up to be our team sponsor, that was kind of cool. Like I actually bank with Scotiabank, so like extra meaning there. But that seeing your name with the Scotiabank and the Calgary group and brand, that had a lot more identity to it for sure. And then I say, instead of signing the contract, like I think the first like check we got as the PWHPA, and like, this is what the PWHPA is trying to do, and this is the results, and here it is right in my hand. That was kind of cool. And of course that went right into, paying my truck bill, because my truck bill broke that month. But it was very meaningful to get that and see that, and that I'm a professional women's hockey with this association. So yeah.
What does a typical game day look like in the PWHPA?
Yeah, so with the showcases, we usually fly out. Lately it's been Fridays, so I usually take a day off of work. I haven't been carpooling with anyone because of COVID, so either my roommate will drop me off, or I'll go myself and park my truck at the airport, fly out to wherever we're heading. We usually don't have games the Friday night, so you just get settled in, and then the Saturday you got a little bit of a time change, so sometimes you sleep in. Usually I try to get to the gym, get moving, get some good food, breakfast, lunch, vice versa, pregame, and then we head to the rink. We always do typically spike ball for our warm-up. Super fun, love that. Get stretched, get into the game, we'll do our on ice warm-up, and then we're off when we're waiting for the game to start.
What is it like, obviously, during the pregame, going the night before Friday to fly out, and then obviously playing Saturday and Sunday?
That one's actually really good, other than having to take extra time off work because I'm blowing through my vacation. But it's we used to fly in the CWH. We used to fly down Friday and like play right away. So like that, the experience of going straight from the airport, the bus to the game, and maybe sometimes we arrived late and you only had 15 minutes to get on ice. Like those are a little bit crazy, and your legs felt like crap. I haven't had any issues going up Friday. Like you have so much time to adjust and get moving. My legs have felt great. So yeah, other than the impact on my work schedule, it's been really great to leave Fridays.
Of course, in the PWHPA, what has it been like, obviously, where you might not have your teammates every day, where you could practice and you only get to see them on the game day?
Yeah, that one's been hard, especially with COVID. Like we've had some rink troubles. Like the Oval was our practice rink, and then it shut down due to COVID. So it's been a really sporadic training. We've definitely been more consistent when we do a showcase, and our actual training has been really all over the place. I've been weathering it doing my own individual training. Luckily, I'm near a rink with amazing drop-in programs. I have a home gym. So like my own training is like the best way that I can leverage it, but I can't wait to have consistent team practices again once we do have a consistent league.
What does a typical showcase tournament look like?
Yeah, so we already went over like the pregame, and then what we'll typically do is we'll play the Saturday, and whoever wins that game gets to go to the final. So it's a very quick tournament. So like if you win, you're in, perfect. If you lose, like you're out. And then the next game you've got your final, and that's where everything's on the line. So it's been a kind of a weird year because we are doing cash pots for our tournaments, which is super fun when we're winning, not so fun when you're not winning. But it puts a lot of extra energy towards that final game, and each game is just so important. There's no room for having too many bad periods off. Like you just have to win those games to be able to go to the finals. But yeah, the cash pot's been really kind of cool to compete for sure.
Of course, what goes through your head while you're competing in the tournament?
My typical style when I'm playing is not to think too much. I find if I engage my brain too much, it just really shuts down my performance. I'll go into the game with a couple key things of whatever I'm focusing on. So like improving my average speed, like moving a little bit more, getting more on my inside edge. So yeah, I'll have one or two things that I'm working on that I've decided prior that these are the two things I really need to focus on. But once I really get into the game situation, I'm really not trying to think too much. I'm just trying to be present and really into the game. And yeah, not thinking too much.
Of course, during the showcase, is it more of tricks and stuff where you're performing tricks, or is it actually playing game against like 7-on-7?
It gets pretty competitive. Because of the cash pot, like I would say there's not too much pulling of tricks out. We saw that a little bit in the All-Star game with the girls going 3v3. I think it was last year or the year before. You saw a little bit of a tricks being pulled there because that's an All-Star game and that's what you're supposed to do. But for the showcases, we've definitely just been playing serious. Yeah, if any tricks comes out, it's just part of the play, not specifically for the show.
What is it like, obviously, getting to see your fans ask for your autographs and photos with you?
That one's really cool, especially like I've got I do a lot of coaching in Calgary right now with the girls hockey, minor hockey, and seeing someone with my jersey, like I don't know how to explain the feeling. And I've got a couple like followers on Instagram and stuff that a couple have purchased my jerseys through PWHPA off in Ontario and other areas, and that I think is like the most. Yeah, I don't have the words to describe it, but it hits me the most where I'm like, wow, someone wants to wear my jersey with like my name, and like that one just really like hits the chest for sure.
Of course, what is that feeling like of looking up in the stands and seeing those Calgary jerseys with your name on them?
It's super cool. It's like you're like, this person is looking up to me as a role model, so much so that they bought my jersey and they like me. So like, it just makes me want to perform better and train harder and just do everything better because like someone is watching and they care. Like it really just puts an extra oomph on everything for sure.
What is that feeling like for you to obviously know that your name's on the back of that PWHPA Calgary jersey?
Yeah, that one's really cool, especially when I see someone wearing that jersey. Yeah, it just makes me want to represent even better, train harder, just be a better person in every area of my life to deserve it. I want to be able to deserve that someone's looking up to me. So that just puts more energy into my everyday for training and everything to pursue my goals.
Who are some people that you look up to in the hockey community?
Hockey community. I've had some really impactful people. I really admire Olette. Is like her passion for the game is just insane. To play so many years and then still like I got to practice once with her. She was in Calgary and she's like, let me in, coach, like let another shift, like so that she can maintain her passion for so long and want to still be on the ice. Like, that's really inspiring. Brianne Jenner, I love her work ethic. Really honored to like play with her for a while. Great person too, like always such a good leader, like always making sure everyone's like heard and seen. I don't know, there's actually a lot of people that there's aspects that I really admire about them. I could actually go on for a little bit longer if I had time to think about that one more. But yeah, those are my top two off my head right now.
Of course, what is it like getting to play with so many Olympians?
They definitely make you better, that's for sure. And they can also embarrass you really bad. Like, I remember one time we were doing lines and I was doing it next to Megan Mickelson, and she was just so far ahead of me. And I'm like, how are you physically doing this? And now I've really upped my training, and I could see like how they're getting there, which has really helped the steps to progress to be where they at. But initially you're just like, how are you this good? Like, how? So yeah, it's really humbling and inspiring, and like it gives you a benchmark of like, okay, this is where I got to be aiming for. I have to change something, do something different, because I'm not there and they are.
Of course, with playing with Olympians, have you seen where sometimes you might ask them how did they get to where they are to represent, whether it's Canada or the United States?
You know what? I've never actually asked them that. Typically, I can kind of see it in the reflection of their day-to-day habits. Oh my goodness, I got to backtrack. Casey Bellamy, respect. Really look up to her. But in the same case, like you could see it in her day-to-day and all of her actions, all of her training. They've leveraged all of that to get to be where they are. And then on top of that, they're just amazing hockey players on top of that work ethic. Yeah, I would think the hard work, the consistency, and them getting good at the right time, in the right place, really would be my guess from seeing them. But I haven't asked them specifically.
Of course, as a PWHPA player, what are some of your future plans and where do you see the league going in the next few years?
There's been rumors that we're going to have a full league by next year. So that's the hope. Don't know any details really. But hopefully playing in that would be my goal. And then ideally our vision is a full paid professional league, benefits, people don't have to work full time. To me, I think that is honoring our sport. Because when I'm personally, from my own view, when I'm putting in 40 hours to another job, I don't do my sport what it needs. I can't honor it properly. I can't train properly. I can't be what the league needs to push the league forward. So I think we're going to see a springboard of professional women's hockey. As soon as that piece can be taken care of, then people can do this for a full-time job. I think we're going to see some insane talent and some insane hockey just launch off so quickly. And we're going to attract people from all over the world to play in a league because it really just doesn't exist. So a sustainable paid professional league is our vision, and that's where we're headed.
Of course, as you talk about having a sustainable league, and with the PHF obviously and what they've accomplished, do you foresee obviously the two of y'all maybe combining into one league?
I would love a one league. I think what we might see in the next couple of years is a bit similar to businesses or capitalism, where you need a competitor to make you better. So I could definitely see a couple of years where even another league pops up and we're competing against each other to provide what the players need and what the fans need. And whoever does it best will eventually be the top league that everyone will kind of combine into, similar to the NHL. I don't know what the time that would be, but that's kind of what I project right now, is that potentially it could be good to have a couple bodies going, competing with each other, similar to businesses competing with each other instead of having a monopoly. And then finally one, just doing it the best and coming out on top, absorbing the others. And then once that one's successful, you're going to have farm teams, junior teams, all these other leagues underneath it. So it's not that the leagues are going away. It's just there's going to be a clear, here's all the top players, our top league. This is, they represent us the best. They give us the best ice time. They're paying us the best. There's the best product for the fans, and they're just automatically going to win. And then everything else will start to hierarchy underneath that, just similar to the NHL Pro League. But we're in our first years, whereas the NHL has been, I don't know the stats for it right now, but the NHL has been around for years and years and years and years. So like we've got a long way to build up this momentum.
Of course, I was talking about the NHL. What is it like, obviously, getting to see those women on the U.S. team, obviously being represented in the video game? And do you foresee in the future having a video game for women's hockey?
That is so huge. So again, that's similar to us being showcased on TV. Like you impact so many little girls across the country. Like I don't even not comprehend how many people you can impact. And the same thing with the video game. Like, okay, so not only are women good enough to be, I can see them on TV, but they're good enough they're on a video game. Like there's just so much far-reaching impact that has that I don't think we even conceive yet. So I think it's huge, and I think there will be a full women's video game at some point. Because again, I think that's the momentum where we're headed. But I think it's huge. It's something we may not see in the couple initial years, but it's going to have very, very long range impact. And it was really cool to also see like Decker and people that I've played with being on that. It's kind of really cool.
Of course, what is something that you learned now that you didn't know before becoming a professional hockey player?
I had no idea what it takes to get to the top level. When I first came in, like I knew I was limiting myself by working full time and not be able to really commit to training, but I had no idea what I needed to do to get better really, or what these other people are doing to get better. And it really took getting cut from the team and relooking at everything to start to see and playing with Never Too Late to Learn Hockey. She's on Instagram as well. She's my best friend. And seeing what she leveraged and how quickly she got better. She just started hockey, I think 5 or 6 years ago. And seeing this new way of how to get there and what people are doing and like actually realizing what it takes. I just did not know that when I first started. I was kind of in this little tunnel vision of just doing what I'd always done. So yeah, my brain way more open to what you actually need to do to get better.
What advice would you give future hockey players looking to go to professional hockey?
Do what you love. No one will be able to match you if you do what you love. And if you can align your passion with your training, you're going to bring a level that people just can't match. And I see that with Olympians. Like if you can't truly love what you're doing, like you're going to burn out. You're just not going to be able to make it to the level that you want to. So doing what you love, like that's the biggest key. And then after that, it's surrounding yourselves and finding access to good hockey players, videos, new ways of doing things, finding different aspects of doing things. Don't just do it how you've always done it. That's what I did. Didn't work for me. But surrounding yourself, reach out to people, find some key mentors, key coaches that can help you leverage and open up to the possibilities that are out there, because we don't know what we don't know. So finding those key people that help you on your journey, then you can find that ladder and just climb it and get so much better.
What advice would you give those hockey players, the women hockey players, the college women hockey players now looking to either obviously go to the PHF or the PWHPA?
Yeah, if you want to keep playing hockey, I think this is going to be our next 5 years are going to be some prime time to keep playing hockey. Like the prior years, you've come out and you just go straight into a career because there's not really a lot of paying options. But I think there's going to be some opportunity in the next 5 years, again, maybe hopefully next year, that you can extend your career, potentially make a career out of women's hockey, and that's a really exciting piece of history that you're going to be able to be part of.
What advice would you give even college hockey players that are going from college to professional and even professional ones, determining which obviously league to go to, whether it's the PWHPA or obviously the PHF?
I think location could be a really big one. And then other than that, just reach out to some people that have played in either one. Well, obviously they're new league, we're not going to have too much experience of what it's going to look like. But reach out to someone who's played there, see how the practices are like, if they like their coaches. For me, it's a big, like how much ice time you're going to get. Like, are we practicing twice a week? Are we practicing once? How often are we playing? So those are big deciders for me. Yeah, I would just reach out and see who's offering what you want and then pursue that.
What advice would you give those hockey players, those professional hockey players looking to balance obviously their corporate work life and their playing professional life?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Personally, I chose a job. I worked for SportCheck. I chose a job that was going to be supportive of my career and flexible with my schedule. I know a lot of people that also have super fans with their bosses, with their company, who really get behind them and supporting them on their career. So if it is a big piece for you, I would recommend finding a place that is supportive, who is excited even for women's hockey and what you're doing. And then you're not going to really have too many issues. They're going to help you with your training. They're going to be flexible when you need a day off. But if you do pick a company that, again, isn't, or even a boss, like not even a company that, doesn't care about hockey or athletics or people being passionate about whatever they're passionate about, it can be really a headache for sure. You can feel like you're going to be fighting to try to do what you want to do. So yeah, other than putting yourself in a place with supportive people and supportive environments, that would be my best advice.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Main place would be Instagram. So just Laura Dostaler on Instagram. That's my main platform. I have a hard time juggling everything, so I really don't spread myself too thin on social media. So hook me up on Instagram.
Thank you again, Laura Dostaler, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the PWHPA.
Thank you so much, Brandon. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Lauren Dostaler, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.